at this dude. Wait till you see him. No.
Hi, I'm Linjo, and this is how to not suck at Rammus. Passive makes your autos do bonus magic damage. More armor equals more damage. Q goes vroom vroom. Longer the channel, faster you go. Hitting an enemy damages, slows, and knocks them back. Recasting Q stops the roll. W gives you more armor and magic resist. Enemies autoing you or doing on-hit damage take magic damage. Your autos extend the duration of W. Recasting, Qing, or Ring during W cancels it. E is a point-and-click taunt. It gives you more attack speed, and that duration refreshes during W. R makes you fly and go big boom. You're immune to all CC while flying. Qing before R makes you go even bigger boom at the center, knocking people up. This is the base range, but it increases the faster you are. You do more damage the further away you press R. When you land, the impact followed by the 3 tremors each do magic damage and slows. R lets you damage structures as well. Bada bing, bada boom, now you know what Rammus does. Start W, then get Q and E. Max QEW. Why? Someone on the Rammus main subreddit pointed out that R max doesn't reduce the cooldown and only gives small upgrades. Maxing out E and W gives better value. After testing this, I agree with delaying R max. That means after getting R at level 6, continue maxing QEW and leave R till last. Thank you, Spyboard3. This Aftershock page works well with Rammus' kit. It makes him tankier with more armor and MR. Font of Life lets your teammates heal when you CC enemies. Triumph is clutch in those 1 HP situations. Legend Alacrity lets you hit people faster. Lastly, take attack speed and scaling health. I go Ghost over Flash. Ghost's cooldown is less. It helps with both Rammus' engage and sticking power. Getting to them in the first place is important, but staying on them is just as important. Remember to grab Smite, unless you're playing Rammus Yumi bot. Then you could do whatever you want. No, don't be an idiot. You can't get the jungle item without Smite. Speaking of items, when people think of Rammus, they think, hey, it's a walking Thornmail. Not building Thornmail on Rammus is like buying a car without a windshield. Sure, you can still drive fast, but damn will you be squishy. All 3 starting jungle items are good for Rammus, so pick based on preference. Blue to go zoom zoom. Green to be an even tankier boy. Red to watch the world burn. I prefer zoom zoom. First back with 800 gold for Bramble Vest, but ideally 1100 for Bramble and Tier 1 boots. Finish Tier 2 boots before Thornmail. Extra move speed makes a huge difference, especially when most other players don't even have Tier 1 boots. 2 main boots I get are Sorks and Swifties. Thank you, Baus, for the Sork boots tech. Get Sorks if the enemy team has a lot of auto-attacking champs. The magic pen makes you do big damage, especially with W. If not, go Swifties. It's cheaper and gives more move speed than most other boots. Plated and Mercs are both good for their respective resistances. After Thornmail, buy a Bomby Cinder item to help clear camps. If more AD threats, go Sunfire. If more AP, go Hollow Radiance. Now, hear me out. This may be unconventional, but I think Wit's End is a great item on Rammus. Your damage comes from autoing, so the attack speed and magic on-hit damage works well. The magic resist and tenacity are nice too. Trust me and try it out, don't knock the Wit's End tech. A good alternative is Abyssal Mask. It's cheaper, gives more MR, and has the AoE MR reduction passive. If you have strong AP damage on your team, go Abyssal. Next, if they have AD and AP, go Jackshow for more balanced stats. If instead, they have continuous magic damage, get Force of Nature. The bonus MR from the Steadfast passive makes you really tanky, but takes some time to activate. If they have burst magic damage, Cane of Rickern is better because of the giant shield. The last item is situational. Any of the previous items work here. Go on chains to single out a target on their team. Randoins if they do crit damage. Knight's Vow to protect one person. Dead Man's Plate to become Sonic the Armadillo. On paper, Frozen Heart gives us a ton of armor. More armor equals more damage, right? The problem is, it also reduces people's attack speed near us, and we want them to auto us. So, it's a no-go. Okay, got all that? Take a breather, here's a cat video. But Linjo, Rammus is a simple champion. How can he have advantage? Did you know Rammus R can cancel the near side effect from Nocturne's ult? What the frick? I didn't know either until testing for this video. What about this? You can react to Mordekaiser ult windup and not get sent to the Shadow Realm. That's right, Rammus R makes you immune to all crowd control. And there's a lot of spells in this game that count as CC. There are more obvious ones like Lee Sin ult, Varus ult, Malzahar ult, and then there are less obvious ones like Bard ult, Urgot ult, even Kasante ult. Your Q can block Thresh, Lantern, and his teammates. Rammus the Armadillo! Q fully cancels the damage and movement of Akali's R2. Saving your teammates has never been cooler. Easiest honors of your life. When Irelia marks you with ult, Q her Q. And she doesn't get a reset! You can interrupt someone taking a blast coat mid-air. Rammus Q can instantly auto jungle plants.
Oh shit, what is
There are some abilities that always take priority over Rammus Q. Gragas E, for example, always wins. Then, there are abilities that are more dependent. Poppy E wins if she's further away from Rammus, but Rammus Q wins if he's closer to Poppy. Both Rammus Q and QR are considered airborne effects, so it works with Yasuo ult and Samira's passive. Now imagine this. You're a laner, and Rammus is queuing in for a gank. If you don't have CC to cancel his Q, what are you gonna do? You're gonna try to flash or dash away. As a 200 IQ Rammus, you can cut off their escape while anticipating their movement ability. Try to get between their current location and where you think they're gonna flash. If they don't flash, you can hit the Q and EW them. If they do flash, then your Q would have already connected and you won't be trying to play catch up. It helps to click closer to your champion. Clicking too far away would make your character travel a large distance because of how fast you are. Speaking of ganking a lane, Q makes you faster the longer you channel. To go from here to there in an instant, start Q from out of vision and ghost when Q charges up. Don't wait too long, otherwise Q would end before you reach them. You won't go as far because the duration is already ticking down. W works against on-hit damage, like Cattle, Urgot W, Aphelios Q, etc. Your E has a small wind-up animation. Timing it right before someone flashes, dashes, or blinks makes the taunt still go through. Because there's a wind-up, it's better to E first and then W, so you can maximize the duration of W. If someone leaves vision before the E animation goes through, taunt doesn't go off. The E range is slightly larger than your auto range. If you have time, you can weave in an extra auto before E. If you know the enemy has escape tools, once Q connects, instantly E them. This makes it so that your teammates can chain their CC, and the enemies can't dash or flash away. Use attack move to block their escape path and stick on them. Rammus is very good at going into a fight, but not so good at leaving one. If you don't have to R in, you can QEW and R away to safety when W runs out. You won't be as tanky without W. You can go back in after it comes up if you're healthy enough. Keep autoing them to extend the duration. Don't cancel your W with Q or R if you don't have to. Ooga booga translation. W up, fight. W nada, no fight. Rammus is very good at clearing waves, but only when the minions are hitting him. You can catch their wave to prevent the enemies from ending. Congrats, you're now a Rammus expert. Belinjo, I hear you say. What do I do specifically? Early game is the most important part of the game for junglers, so this section will be detailed. These principles apply to any jungler, but I'll explain it from a Rammus' point of view. If the information gets too overwhelming, come back here for this dog video. You're not a champion until level 3. Say it with me. I'm not a champion until level 3. Rammus isn't good at invading level 1. You don't do damage unless they auto you. You're just gonna be walking at them looking like a fool. On the flip side, if you anticipate their invade and stack in a bush, Rammus W does do a decent job of absorbing damage while your team kills them. Again, since you aren't a champion until level 3, be very careful of invades. By default, I recall and ward this red side bush at 50 seconds, then swap to Oracle Lens. If you feel like they're gonna invade immediately, ward the bush ASAP and leave the area. I do this to clear my red side camps and hit level 3 safely. The vision protects me from any jungle cheese invades. Don't make your laners leash. I repeat, do not make them leash. You can't control what goes on in the lanes before you hit level 3. Instead, we can allow our teammates to get to lane first, build up a favorable wave state, and hit level 2 before the enemies can. This way, they're less likely to die before we can impact the map. Doing this creates a small advantage for our team, basically from nothing. Besides, you want to start Raptors anyways to let it respawn sooner. A general start is to go Raptors, Krugs, Red, so that your Raptors and Krugs spawn simultaneously. Rammus favors red side camps because they're the fastest to clear with W. I skip Gromp at first clear most games because Mr. Gromp over here does magic damage and takes too long. Rammus has one of the slowest frickin' clears in the game. By the time you finish your third camp, the enemy jungler is already on their fourth. Instead of trying to mash them, you can make a play before they finish clearing. Once you hit level 3, your power level is
over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right!
If you're in a favorable matchup, invade the enemy jungler. If you're unsure of the matchup, try it out and limit test so you'll know for the future. If you don't have Prowl to invade, that's good too. The enemies are pushed up further in the lane, so instead of forcing an invade that you know your laners can't move to, look for a gank. Look for your win cons and path towards them, especially on a jungler like Rammus. Keep an eye out for which side of the map and around where they warded. The longer they're gone from vision, the deeper the ward. On top of that, look for any use sums and time it. Knowing that someone's flash or cleanse is down can lead to a free kill. Remember, the enemy jungler can gank too. When they show, look at their buffs, look at their CS. Tracking the jungler tells us where they've been and where they want to go. Use this info to set up counter ganks or make your own plays on the other side of the map, knowing that their jungler won't be there. Communicate this information to your teammates and not just one missing ping. Really let them know. The point is, you have the most impact during this part of the game. Make sure to capitalize on it. I'm not saying farming your camps is bad. Camp efficiency is very important. I'm saying these are all opportunities to look out for, and assess whether or not you have a high chance of pulling them off. If you're gonna farm camps, I want you to do so consciously, not because you're on autopilot, but because you went through the thought process of, hey, the enemy laners are all playing extremely safely, so I can't gank them. The enemy jungler beats me in a 1v1 early, so I shouldn't fight them, and instead of forcing a low percentage play, I want to continue clearing my camps and wait for a better opportunity. When in doubt, ask yourself, which decision can make me the most money? Bonus points if you set the enemy jungler and laners behind as well. I get it. As a jungler, there's so much shit to do. It could be overwhelming. Just take a deep breath. Everything will be okay. It helps to set priorities. If there's a fight you can impact, go to it. If you can get a free pick, do it. Try not to overly force plays. You'll start to recognize which plays are high percentage ones and which are low percentage ones with more experience. When you recognize the low percentage play, don't bother spending time on it. Keep being efficient with your farming. You got this. When mid-game rolls around, look for engages. Rammus's kit is very powerful in starting fights, so get your team to group up and team fight with numbers advantage. Rammus is also really good at picking off side laners with his CC and speed. Look for overextended enemies and OK all over them. Through all of this, don't forget to keep farming and getting experience. A good way to balance farming and fighting is to clear a quadrant, then look for a play. Clear another quadrant, look for another play. Only full clear, there's truly nothing else happening on the map. When you have a lead, press it to close out the game. Rammus doesn't scale into late game, so we're on a timer. Since death times are longer, transition the picks and kills into barons, towers, inhibitors, and eventually the nexus. Ideally, we ended the game before it hits late. Rammus doesn't scale as well as other junglers like Zac or Udyr, or any farming jungler. Rammus's impact on the game isn't as high as it once was in the mid game, because now everyone has move speed, QSS, Mikhails, Zhonya's, MR, Lord Dom's, percent health damage, just more items in general to survive and counter you. But since we are in the late game, continue looking for picks, play front to back and peel your carries, and look for favorable engages to end the game ASAP. The biggest counter to Rammus is, say it with me, AP, vision, and communication! Okay, think about it. If the enemies know exactly where you are, all the time, then how can you ever get a gank off? Rammus's game plan is very simple. Roll at them, super quickly, and CC them long enough to kill them yourself, or let your teammates kill them. If they know you're on the way, the chances of getting caught is much lower. That's why we rarely see Rammus in pro play. Luckily, in solo queue, vision and communication aren't always people's strong suit. In other words, playing Rammus is okay. The other big Rammus counter is magic and true damage champions. Lilia, Karthus, and Brand are all scaling AP junglers that are a nightmare to play against. I ban Lilia almost every game. Percent health damage from Brand hurts. Vayne, Varus, and Kog'Maw all have either true damage or magic damage to melt you. I definitely get chains for them. Cassiopeia, Kassadin, and Vladimir are hard to deal with. Vladimir's healing is too much, even through your heal cut. Terrain displacements like Trundle Pillar, Anivia Wall, and Yorick Cage cancel your Q, making it very hard to gank them. Item-wise, building Merc Treads, Wit's End, Maw, Magic Resist in general negates Rammus's damage. Building QSS or taking Cleanse counters Rammus's CC. Building LDR or Liandry's helps deal with Rammus's tankiness. Not hitting Rammus when his W's up is also a counter. So if you're playing against me in solo queue, don't do any of those things. Thank you! After all that, let's ask the real question.
Okay.
If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I stream my ranked games on Twitch, so come check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If your win rate hasn't gone up by 10%, rewatch the video.